This right here is the Canon R50v. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm surprised I got this because I have some really nice cameras. I got the Canon R1 and the Canon R5 Mark II. But I was really thinking about all the beginner photographers out there, especially those that want to dive into the wildlife world. I always tell people that the minimum budget I recommend is around $1,800. It's going to be like a $1,200 Canon R8 or R7, and anything below that is just not really worth it. But technology has changed so much over the past few years, and I wanted to see if a $650 camera and a $650 lens is going to make a good wildlife setup. So we're just going to take a quick look at the R50v in this video and also give you my full settings. Now, my settings are going to be for wildlife, but there's just going to be one setting you want to change if you're not doing wildlife. And we'll do slow motion, and we'll have 4K and some other 4K options. So we'll set it up fully, and we'll set it up for photography as well, because this camera technically can shoot photos. First thing you'll notice is the thing that made me question, is this camera even gonna be worth it? There's no viewfinder. I have an idea what Canon's approach was to this. Obviously, it was more video centric, but I really think that you can get some really good images because the specs on this is really not too bad at all, especially for beginners. And with this lens, it's a $100 to $650 lens. But since this is a crop sensor camera, you're gonna be getting like 160 to like 540 or 580, I don't know the math right now, but almost 600 millimeters with this lens and this camera. So it's gonna be a really good, cheap setup. Obviously, in another video, we're gonna put it to the test and see how it goes. But yeah, let's dive in. Here, right in front, is gonna be your camera sensor. You can see it's a pretty small sensor, but it's gonna work pretty good. Canon has some really good quality. Other things you'll notice on the front is a record button. Canon's approach to this camera was really for vloggers. I bought the basic camera with no lens. I don't really plan on vlogging with this, but if you want to talk to the camera, you can easily press record, which is super duper nice that you could do that. Moving on to this side, we'll just have some microphone jack, a headphone jack, a microphone jack, HDMI cable, and a USB-C cable. And then when we look at the top, this is where it's pretty cool. We have so many video options: custom video mode 1, 2, and 3, as well as regular manual video. We'll have S&F, we'll have photo and auto, and the scene mode, which I don't use at all. And then when you look at the back, we'll have the flip out LCD screen, which is pretty nice. Canon always does a good job with that, although I think it is time to upgrade the flip out LCD screen. Sometimes when you flip it out, you can't get things level, and I really wish you could tilt up and down from the back, but you can't. But we'll have our shutter control up here. This is gonna be your aperture dial right here, and then if you want to change your ISO, you'll just press the ISO button and then change your ISO. We have our autofocus button, and then some other menu buttons that we can change in our menus. And also up top, we'll have Canon's electronic hot shoe. That way, if we want to put a wireless microphone on, we can just slide this on, lock it in, and I mean, that's going to be a really nice setup, wireless. Canon does need to upgrade or update their wireless microphone. It's not the best, but yeah, it is an option. So I'm gonna put a lens on here, and we will get our camera set up. And then for me to record the camera settings, I have to put this LCD monitor on here and use that to record the screen. Hopefully one day Canon and other camera companies add a way to internally record the viewfinder and screen. But you can't. Alright, so let's start with photos first. We're gonna put our camera into photo mode, and then we're gonna hit menu. And the first thing I like to do is make sure I'm shooting in full manual exposure. I don't recommend shooting auto. Just do manual and learn your camera. It is gonna make or break your images. All right, next up, image quality. I like to shoot RAW and only RAW, so I'm gonna make sure RAW is selected. And JPEG, I'm gonna hit the minus sign because I don't want JPEG. We're gonna disable our interval timer. That's for doing time lapses. I'm gonna leave silent shutter off with a shutter mode electronic. And we'll go to page 7. Everything looks good here. I'm gonna leave that. And on page 8, everything looks good. Okay, let's go to the autofocus tab. We're gonna make sure we're shooting in servo. I don't really like the AI or the one shot. I just think servo AF is your best for everything. I don't see a point of ever using the one shot or the AI focus. For our autofocusing point, we can either do spot, I like to do that, or we can do whatever one you're comfortable with. Spot works for me. For wildlife, I can really pick the eye, and then we can also adjust the camera to focus on the eye as well. And if you just want anything on the screen to be in focus and then hope the camera finds your subject, then just do the whole area AF. But I'm gonna leave it at spot. We're gonna go to page 2 here. I'm gonna do subject animals. If you're not shooting wildlife, you could definitely shoot on people or auto mode. We're gonna disable the preview AF. I believe that makes your camera always trying to focus, which I don't like. Okay, page 4 looks good. Page 5 looks good. All right, now we don't touch anything here. And then I'm not gonna mess with any of this stuff here. On this page, I like to make my auto rotate on the computer only. This makes it so if you shoot a vertical photo, it's gonna show up the way you shot it on your viewfinder or on your back of your LCD screen. And I don't like when it only takes up a little bit of your screen. So auto rotate is gonna be computer only. And we can go to the next page. Everything looks good here. If you wanna hear your shutter, you can enable beep and go to volume, and you can make your shutter volume loud and turn all the other beeps off. You don't want to do the touch beeps or the focus beeps. It really is kind of unprofessional. It's annoying, and people are going to get kind of mad at you. Okay, on the next page looks good. Although if you are like me, I had to change the screen dimmer to never go off, and auto power off was 30 minutes because I hate when the camera just shuts off on me and I have to re-go or re-turn it on and go back to where I was. Okay, everything looks good here. Now let's go to customize buttons for shooting. In photo mode, I do not like my shutter button to be my autofocus button. We are going to make that metering only, and we are going to make our autofocus button here on the back of our screen, number 2. That's going to be our autofocus button. I'm going to make the custom button 1 be my animal eye detection. So we're going to make eye detection AF, and then that way when we hold 1, it's going to be animal eye detection, and when we hold 2, it's going to be our spot autofocus. And everything else looks good. Okay, I'm going to leave that. And for video, everything else looks good except one thing. I'm gonna change 1 from live streaming because that's not something I'm into. I'm gonna make this pausing my autofocus. So we're gonna scroll and look for that right here in video mode. Now in video mode, when you press 1, it's gonna pause your focus, which is an amazing feature when you have a bird on a perch or something. You can just have your camera on a tripod, press 1 to pause the focus, and it's not gonna focus on something else if it catches the camera's eye. Okay, and there we go. I like all these settings, and I think we are good to go. That is my photo mode settings on the R50v. All right, now we're gonna work on our video settings. We're gonna have a video mode, a custom 1, a custom 2, and a custom 3 all set up for you. So let's first start with our slow motion footage. And the only way we can capture ultra slow motion footage on the R50v is in 1080p, but it's gonna still be really good quality for YouTube and social media. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go to the custom manual video mode. And when we're here, this is where we can set our custom video mode 1, 2, and 3. Let's start with C3, which is gonna be our 1080p 120 slow motion. We're gonna go to menu, and we're gonna make sure our shooting mode is the video with the manual button, and then we're gonna make sure our movie record size is gonna be full HD. Scroll over to this tab, 120 frames per second, and just leave that like that. Okay, that looks good. We're gonna make our movie record format 10-bit AVC 422. I don't like the high efficiency. I have a lot of issues with that on my computer. I prefer H.264, which is the XF AVC, and we're gonna choose the 10-bit option, which gives you more color control, more depth to work with. Okay, on page 2, we'll leave that alone. Page 3 looks good. On page 4, now this is where you guys can determine how much you want to put into your video editing skills. If you want to color grade your footage and have the most control over your video highlights and colors and the shadows, we're going to shoot with C-Log 3. If you don't want to do any video editing or any special editing to your colors or anything, just shoot in the recommended picture style, which is this one here. But if you want to learn how to shoot and edit in C-Log 3, we're going to press Custom Picture 3. We're going to hit Info, and we're going to Edit, and we are going to scroll down. Make sure we switch Protect to Unprotect, and we're going to hit Gamma Color Space, C-Log 3/Cinema Gamut. Now this is going to record in C-Log 3, and you'll have a lot of control in your post-processing. And again, if you don't want to use that, then just use the picture style that is recommended, which is auto set. And this picture style is on by default. All right, on page 5, everything looks good. I like to leave auto white balance on. Page 6, everything looks good. 7 looks good. Just so you guys know, tally lamp is going to be a red record button on the front of your camera. So if you're vlogging, you can see that you're recording. Page 8, I'm going to leave this alone. And page 9 and page 10 are set. Now we're going to go to autofocus. We're going to just leave this as enabling movie servo, and we're going to do the whole area, and we're going to scroll over, and I'm going to do animals. If you guys shoot portraits or people or just want some b-roll of normal things, just do auto or people. And like I said, I'm going to do animals for wildlife, and that is essentially all we need to do. Now what we're going to do is we're going to scroll over to the yellow tab. We're going to go to page 4, and we're going to go to custom shooting mode, register settings, C3. We're going to press OK, and we're going to make sure auto update is enabled. So now C3 is going to be your 1080p 120 frames per second ultra slow motion footage. Alright, next up, let's set C2. For me, I'm going to set that to 4K 60 frames per second. This is going to give me the best of both worlds of highest quality, and still I can do 2 times slow motion with a 30 frames per second timeline. So we'll go to menu, and we'll just change a few things. We'll go back to the red tab, and we're going to go to movie record size. We're going to do 4K crop, and we're going to go to 60 frames, and that's 4K 60. That's all we had to change. And now we can go back to the yellow tab on page 4, custom shooting mode, register settings to C2. Now C2 is going to be 4K 60 frames per second. It is cropped on the Canon R50v. And finally, we're going to do our 30 frames per second. We're just going to go to the red menu again, and what we're going to do is go to shooting mode, movie record size, change this to 4K, and we're going to do 30 frames per second. Technically 24 gives you a more cinematic look. I just like to keep everything simple. 30 frames per second, 60 frames per second, and 120 frames per second. It makes my life easier, and I'm the only one editing my footage. This is going to be my real-time, real-speed video. And we're going to go set this to C1 now. Go to this tab, register settings, C1. Our camera is still in video mode and not in the custom 1, 2, or 3 settings. So I'm just gonna make the original video mode people. This is gonna be if I need to talk to the camera, put my camera on a tripod with a smaller lens and talk to the camera and record some b-roll of people if I ever need to do that. And now our camera is set. Next thing we're gonna have to do is set our shutter speeds for everything. In the regular manual video mode, we have it set for 30 frames per second. So we're gonna make our shutter speed 1/60th. Okay, now we can go to custom video mode 1. This is regular 30 frames per second, but wildlife autofocus. We're gonna also set this to 1/60th shutter speed. On C2, we have it set for 60 frames per second. So we're gonna double that and do 1/125th. And then for C3 is 120 frames per second. Our shutter speed needs to be 1/250th. And now we are fully set for wildlife. If you realize that your footage is too bright, you're either gonna need to get an ND filter for your lens, change your aperture, or change your shutter speed. But when you change your shutter speed in video, you're really taking a risk at ruining your footage and ruining the motion blur that looks natural to most people. And that is everything. That is how we fully set up the Canon R50v. I know it was kind of a little more of a boring video, but I got the settings for you guys. We can really do a lot with this. My next video on this camera is going to be a full wildlife review and see, do I like this camera for wildlife or not? And we'll find out in the next video. This video's already long enough, but hopefully it gets you familiar with the Canon R50v. I'm going to take this off real quick and we'll do one final little look at this camera. Alright, so yeah, this is the R50v, guys, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully it helps you out. I really do appreciate you watching. We have our camera set up for C1. Again, is going to be 30 frames per second. C2 is 60 frames per second. And C3 is 120 frames per second. And we'll have everything we need to get some great video, whether you're shooting wildlife like I plan on doing, or if you just want to do content creation for TikTok or YouTube or whatever it may be. Also, if you guys think I sound weird, I still have a little bit of a cold, so my throat's been dry and it's just been kind of hard to talk. So typically I do like to sound a little more excited for my videos, but it is kind of hard when I got this cough and I'm just kind of sick. I had to keep editing out some coughs for this video. So thank you guys for watching. I did mention something about shutter speed. If you really want to take a bigger look at if you need an ND filter or not, watch this video right here. That's all I got. I'll catch you in the next one.